Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Beyonding podcast. We are so excited to be here with you on this live episode, rounding out our first season of the Beyonding podcast. I'm Kailei Carr. I am one of your co-hosts, along with Myra Capri. Hello, Myra.
Hi, Kailei.
And we, as you see, have a special guest today that I'm so excited for you all to meet. So before we get started, a couple of things. I know that we are broadcasting live on YouTube, so feel free to share in the comments where you're joining us from. Where are you in the world? And throughout our conversation, if there are any questions that you have, feel free to put them in the chat. And there might be a little bit of a delay, but we'll get into as many as we can. So, and to give you a lay of the land too, for the first half hour of our time together, we are going to be speaking with our friend Sarah Foster Davis, who I will introduce more formally in a moment. And then in the last 30 minutes, Myra and I are going to reflect on season 1 of the Beyonding podcast as we bring this season to a close, our inaugural season of this podcast, and we'll reflect, and we want to hear from you all and talk a little bit more about what we're looking forward to as we head into season 2 very soon. So with that, welcome to you all, and welcome our friend Sarah Foster Davis to the stage.
Yes, welcome, Sarah.
Thanks, ladies. It's so good to be here. Before we were chatting, Kailei was like, "You want to introduce yourself?" I said, "Oh, geez, how shall I introduce myself?" But I can do a quick intro if you want me to, Kailei.
Sure.
That sounds good. And Myra.
Yes.
I really was struggling because I said, I hate labels. I hate labels. So how to introduce myself without putting labels on there. And I think that comes from a past as coming to the US as a Jamaican, and people always trying to figure out, who am I? What am I? The label thing doesn't sit well with me. So I would say I'm Sarah. I am sitting in a space where I am really working on being present, being here, being in the now, and living life daily, and just finding joy in simple things. That's where I am on my journey right now.
Yes, I love that. And I am okay with no labels. And it's funny because when I thought about this question, so I know I said I'm okay without labels, but I'm going to share adjectives that when I think of Sarah, I think of just this beautiful energy, this spirit that is free. Like when I think of freedom, I think of Sarah. When I think of a wanderer in the best sense of the word, I think of Sarah. When I think of someone that has this strong sense of adventure and exploration, I think of Sarah. All of those things help kind of mold and shape who you are and who I've experienced you as. And even one of the reasons and topics that we want to make sure we talk about today is just this sense of adventure and exploration that you embody. I don't know, Kailei, what else comes to mind, Sarah?
That is beautifully said. Beautifully said. I don't think I would add anything to that.
Myra, that totally lights me up hearing you say that, because while those definitely are adjectives, not labels, that's like those, you hit on my core values, like the things that I really value. And freedom, vitality, those, just being a seeker is core to me.
How is that showing up in your life today? So, spoiler alert, Sarah has moved from Atlanta to Portugal and, just uprooted her life and took this, I guess, a leap of faith or a sense of adventure to move. And you're now living in Portugal. And remind me of the city name because I like to mispronounce it. So I'm going to let you pronounce it.
I tell you, I think that there's at least 3 official ways to pronounce it. So I will probably mispronounce it because I'm still working on my Portuguese, but it's Oeiras I've heard Irish, Irish. So it's one of those ways. But it's in between, if anyone's familiar with Portugal, it's in between Lisbon and Cascais. So it's a town that sits right in the middle. So if you get on the train, it takes about 15 minutes to get to Lisbon and about 15 minutes to get to Cascais. So it's right on the water. It's a beautiful little town.
Yeah. So these values that we use as adjectives to describe who you are and how you show up, how are they showing up in your new life in Portugal?
Oh, they show up every day. This has been a big shift for us from a standpoint of I'm not working anymore. And that was a big shift, so we've been here now for a year. And I've been working since I was 14 years old, right? So shifting, I'm now 54. So working since I was 14 and shifting to not working was quite something. And shifting to a place where I could really focus on my daughter and focus on building a life and doing these things. I just have such gratitude for being able to do that. I'm truly grateful to be in the space that I'm in to do that. And the way those things show up for me nowadays is, I spend my days really wandering. I saw the word meandering the other day, and I thought, oh, I love that word.
Yes.
But I really wander. I pick a place that sounds interesting, that usually has some kind of cultural context to it, because culture to me, I love studying the culture of a place. It's a big thing, really, and in sort of understanding the culture and really being part of the culture and understanding the language and the nuances is a big thing for me. So I pick a place and I go there and wander around and truly just find my way by foot. I don't have a car here, so it's using public transportation. It's walking, as folks who have come to visit me say, 1,000,000 miles a day. But it's truly my joy. It's my joy. I love wandering. And just discovering in that way.
And go ahead, Kailei.
No, go ahead.
I'll bring everyone up to speed with this just little side story. I actually went to visit, and I visited Sarah in Portugal in Oeiras, and we went to lunch one day. We took a car to lunch, and then afterward, Sarah was like, "Oh, we'll just walk back." And I was like, "Oh, okay." She said, "A short walk." And in my mind, a short walk is 10, 15 minutes. And I was like, "Perfect. Let's do it. Weather's decent, let's do this walk." 45 minutes later, we arrived at our destination. And that's when I knew that a short walk for me is a very different short walk for Sarah. And her sense of wonder takes her to a place where I would imagine, and Sarah, correct me if I'm wrong, you're just engulfed in the moment, you're present, you're being one with nature, you're observing, that you don't realize 45 minutes have gone by. Is that kind of what happens when you wander?
Yeah, absolutely, Myra. And it's definitely come to light as people have come to visit that my idea of a short walk is very different from everyone else's idea of a short walk. But that's exactly it. I laugh, and I have been saying to folks, I think I live in an apartment complex, and I was saying, I think people probably think I have a job, because after my daughter goes to school, I leave. And I don't come home until she comes home from school. So it looks like, I'm gone 9 to 5. And in 9 to 5, I'm just wandering around. I might go to a museum. I might go, go to a class, go hiking, do something. But I'm discovering. And it feeds my soul. It really feeds my soul.
When did that start for you? Because as long as I've known you, you have been someone who seeks out adventure and who meanders. Even when you lived in Atlanta, you would walk. I remember you talking about your walks to the botanical garden, which, by the way, where she lived, that wasn't a short walk.
Exactly.
That was not a short walk, but she loved it. So has this always been a part of who you are, Sarah?
It has. I've always I've always been a little off the beaten path. I think when my parents were in town, this is right before Andy and I got married. And we were looking for places to get married, right? When we're in Atlanta, we're looking around at all these places, and I'm going to all the generic places to get married in Atlanta that everybody goes to, Um, and they're just coming along for the ride. And at the end, I looked at him and I said, I don't want to get married here. I want to go back to Jamaica and just get married on the beach. Let's just do it. Then they were like, there you are. I didn't know where you went, but there you are. Just kind of doing my own thing and really staying true to self, while sometimes, I think we all kind of get off of our path, checking myself and getting back on. I think I've always done that. When I was 17, while I love my family dearly, I didn't like where we were living at the time, which was Sacramento. I was like, I love you, but I don't like it here. And that's when it all started, because I left, when I lived here and there for a few years. I lived in New York for a little bit, and the Virgin Islands for a little bit, in Florida. I just kind of bounced. And I have such a wanderlust. I mean, I just love wandering. I love the freedom in it. So much so, actually, what I've found in Portugal, this has been very interesting to me, because this year that we've been here has been a very eye-opening year for me. It's been a year that I've called my learning how to let go year. Just letting go control.
Ooh.
Because I was a person, and still am. It's going to be a lifelong thing, who, tried to put things on lock, had a plan, put it on lock, and just go. And so I realized, being here and having time to be with myself, quiet time, while that served a purpose and it got me to a certain place, it also had detrimental effect on my family, on my relationship with my husband, and just kind of really understanding that, and understanding what I needed to do for myself to let go and realize I don't have control. You don't have control over most things. Yeah. The main thing is, we all know we have control over is how we respond, what we do with ourselves, and how we respond to things. And so that has been a real journey for me here. And I think it truly came in with the wandering in my first hiking journey, where I was down south in, oh my gosh, what's wrong with me? I blanked on the name. It's a little town. It's just down south in Portugal. It's on the southern beaches, but there is a hiking trail that's called a Fisherman's Trail, or Rota Vincente, and it's super long. It goes from the southwest coast all the way down, and then across the southern part of Portugal. So I went on a journey across the southern part of Portugal, where we walked 2 days of walking from one town to the next town to the next town, and not looking back. Like, so you're using your feet to carry you from town to town. And I know many people have done this, but this was the first for me, and it was magical. It was so freeing and magical. I was like, okay, this is what I need to do. This kind of thing, this kind of exploration, this is what I need to do. And somehow I feel a need, and I don't know how it'll come to fruition, but I feel a need to help others in this space of the letting go, right? And trusting in yourself and trusting in others that they've got this. You don't have to have it. You don't have to feel like you have everything on lock, that they've got it, And so it's all been kind of this really super interesting journey this last year here.
So
that's
good.
A very long-winded way of tying that together. Hopefully it tied together. And
no, you did.
I want to know the defining, I kind of want to take us a step back. Was there a defining moment where you were like, I am moving to Portugal. I am absolutely going. This is it. Were there other countries you considered? Like, what was that defining moment? How did you get to the decision of moving?
There were other countries. So I love Spain. I love Spain. And in 2018, we spent a month in Spain during the COVID times, where
your husband,
my family, my daughter, my husband, and myself spent a month in Spain. And I fell in love with Valencia. I love that town. I love Valencia. And I was like, oh, this is magical. The light is magical. I want to be here. And so we said, okay, well, let's look at Portugal too. And in 2023, we came to Portugal for a month. And in Portugal, one of the things that came up that we had a family discussion about was Portugal is a more international environment. It's more diverse, right? You have people from everywhere, whereas Spain is for Spaniards, and you kind of feel that like Spain is for Spaniards. We welcome you now. It's time to leave. And I don't feel that, right? I don't feel that because they think I'm Spanish, and the only thing the thing that they get annoyed about is my Spanish isn't as good as it should be, right? So they get annoyed at that, but I fit in. But my husband and my daughter both kind of could feel that, and so they felt more like they could build community easier in Portugal. So we decided on Portugal. But if I step back to your question, to the heart of your question, Myra. Growing up, my parents used to send my sister and I back to Jamaica every other year after we left. And that was just pivotal to me growing up. Having that experience in the summers where we would spend 3 months back in Jamaica, living with family and friends, it was something that really shaped me and helped me see something different out there than what the US has to offer. And I really, really wanted that for our daughter. I really wanted her to have that experience. I feel like it's critical for her to have a more world view, and have an experience of another culture, just a completely different culture. So that was a big push. And that was always in our mind. That's always something that we wanted to do, right? In 2023, though, there were a few events in 2023 that, when the universe kind of says, hey, and then it says, hey, and then it takes the brick and goes, hey, and hits you on the head. I had a few of those in 2023. Right. The last one was a friend of mine passing away unexpectedly. But all of the events were sort of those life-altering events that make you realize you're not promised anything. You have right now. You have right now. So how are you living right now? So when that all came to pass, and then being in Portugal, when we were here, this is going to sound a little but when we were here, we were having lunch at this wonderful seafood restaurant. And I don't know if I was like in food bliss, if I had a bliss out kind of moment or what, but I won't demean it to that. It wasn't a bliss out moment. It was a conversation. It was a conversation, right? It came to me where I literally checked out. I wasn't there. And I went somewhere, and then I came back. And I don't know how long I was gone, but I was gone long enough where both Andy and Anya were at the table staring at me. And they said, are you back? I was like, 1 second. And I grabbed my notebook and I pulled it out and I just started writing furiously.
Wow.
Furiously, because I just had this rush. It's the wildest thing, right? I just had this rush. I started writing furiously in the notebook, took a breath, closed it, put it down. I said, okay, I'm here. But what that was literally every fiber in my being screaming at me, what are you waiting for? You need to do this. Do not wait. Do this now. That was I still have the notebook page. That was everything I was writing down. It was sort of like this repetitive thing. It was so interesting. It was fascinating. I haven't had that kind of, I know Kailei sometimes call it a download, but that kind of download before to that extent. That was really that felt like the brick on the head. Wow. And after that, the moment that I had that, I wrote it down. in my head, I said, yeah, why am I waiting? Let's do it. And I felt my being kind of move into it. And I'm not joking, y'all. Things started to fall into position.
Mm.
Things that are not that they are typically like hurdles,
Mm.
convoluted processes. They're still convoluted, but I was I would meet people that were like, oh, you need to do this. And then another, oh, you need to do this. So I would just meet people. I froze, so I don't know if you guys lost me, but
We
I
can
would.
still hear you, even though the video
The
froze.
video froze. I'm probably moving my hands too much. I would meet people that I would call guides, that just helped me along the way randomly. And I truly feel it's because I said yes. I said yes,
Ugh.
finally, and things just started to flow.
Yeah. And you surrendered to it. You said yes, you surrendered to it. And there's something about embodying it. So you talked about getting that download and then moving into it. Like you
Mhm.
embodied that person. And when I just believe that when we do that, it's like the universe just
It
rises to
opens
meet
up.
us.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. And
It
things just
opens up.
move faster. And I'm
Mhm.
curious because I know there might be some people who are watching or listening and saying, yeah, but I have children who are in school, or I have this job, I have this, all the excuses of why it wouldn't work for them. What
Mhm.
were some of those hurdles, those perceived hurdles that ended up moving into I guess alignment
Mm.
faster than you expected?
So the school, one of the big hurdles was we had just visited the school that Anya would attend, and they were like, we've got a full class. It's a very small school. It's the only American school, and so the likelihood of her getting in was pretty slim, right? So I said, okay. She said, but still put your application in, and then we can call you next year you know, if nothing comes open. I said, okay. So I put my application in. Not really thinking anything of it. 2 weeks later, bam. 2 weeks later, and they said you have 2 weeks later, and they said you have 2 weeks to make a decision.
Oh my gosh.
Now, this is without me having a visa, without me having done any paperwork,
Mhm.
without me having done. I said, okay, as long as Anya is on board and wants to do it, and she's excited about it, and Andy wants to do it, and he's excited about it, we're doing it.
Ooh.
And did you expect to go there for like indefinitely?
No, so we said, let's do it for a test year.
Mhm.
So the plan was we're going to be here for a year. Let's just test it out so we won't feel pressure to commit. Didn't want to put any pressure on Anya that she already is in a foreign environment, learning a new language, all the things, first year of high school, all the things. So I said, let's just try it for a year and see how it goes. And that's what we did. And we said, okay, we'll have to make a decision of, do we stay for next year by March? And we made that decision that we're going to stay for next year. And so, it's sort of like a annual decision that we'll
Mm.
be doing.
Mm.
Mhm. So
Mhm.
so what does community look like for you now? How has that shaped or changed?
I was very intentional in the first probably 6 to 8 months of being here, of not trying to do, but just trying to be, right? And trying to see what I really wanted to experience, what brought me joy, and find groups that maybe enjoyed the same thing.
Mm.
So with my wandering and my walking, I found a walking group. I then found a hiking group, and that's where I just fell in love with hiking. And the people in the hiking group were and are wonderful, so wonderful. And then I, fell in love with this game called paddle that they play here. That's a cross between racquetball and tennis. And the
Mhm.
ladies that I play with are wonderful. So I've built community around the things that bring me joy. I've met people who also get great joy from those same things. And it's been really fantastic.
So good.
So good.
I have so many things I could talk about, Kailei, but I know
I
that
know.
we have a short amount of time with you, Sarah. It's unfortunate.
I do
I
want to, I know we're at the top. I do want to say one thing. I hate that I'm
Yes.
frozen. You can't, I see
I
my frozen
know.
self. I'm sorry, everyone.
But we
But
can hear you, so thank
okay,
goodness, and we
good.
still see your beautiful face, it's just frozen.
The one thing I would say is this. I think the reason why everything started to flow for me is I was very centered on what's my truth, what's something that what do I want, what's the right thing for me,
Ugh.
right? And I can't stress that enough, because I meet a lot of people and say, oh, that's great, I wish I could do that, and it just makes me wonder, do you really wish you could do this? Because this is my story, it's not your story.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
what's your story? And I think that if we just could take, and I know time is hard when you have the job and the kids and the this and the that and the everything, but find a little time for yourself to figure out what your story is, what brings you joy, because nobody can tell you that.
My. It's a simple truth, but so profound.
Yeah.
And I think that is the energy that I get from you, Sarah. Like every time I'm around you, I don't feel that you are carrying stress. When I talked about the freedom, and when I think about freedom and what it means to be at liberty and at ease and just flowing in life, I think about you. One of the things that you said recently when we reconnected, when you came to visit in Atlanta, was that you can feel the difference when you leave Portugal and the moment you step into an airport in the United States. The
Mm-hmm.
energy is different, right? It's a differentness, it's a heaviness, and you aren't carrying that. And I don't know if you felt that while you lived here, and you've since, it doesn't feel the same since you've moved to Portugal, but I definitely don't feel that around you. I definitely felt lighter when I was visiting you in Portugal, not just being around you, but being in the country itself.
Mm-hmm.
There's
Yeah.
definitely a difference, and I'm excited for you. I'm so happy that you've found this place, that you continue to wander. And, may we all figure out like what brings us joy, what puts us at ease and helps us feel in this space of like being free and liberated.
Thanks, Myra.
Mhm.
Yes, that's my hope. That is truly my hope for everyone.
Yeah. Yeah, the
Mm-hmm.
peace and clarity. Like, when
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
think about when I saw you when you were visiting the States recently, and those are the 2 words that were just oozing from you: peace and clarity, peace and centeredness, but also the clarity of what is important to you, what matters most, and who do you want to be in this season. And it is so inspiring, so inspiring. So thank you for sharing your story and your soul with us, because especially since we know it's late and you are not a night owl.
Thank you so
Oh,
much.
thank you, ladies. And congratulations on the close of your first season.
Thank you. Thank you so
Yes.
So
much.
excited for you both.
And I think we just need to bring you back. This wasn't long enough.
I
So
agree.
in the comments, in the chat, in the reviews, let us know if you want to hear more from Sarah. I think the answer is yes.
Mhm.
And we will have to bring you back. I don't know. Maybe we need to go to Portugal and do a live
Are you reading my
recording.
mind?
I'm
I mean,
saying yes to that,
Yes.
Kylie. Come on.
It's a hard yes.
it's a hard yes. It's a hard yes. Yes.
Oh,
Oh, so thank you
thank you,
so much,
ladies.
Thanks,
Sarah.
Sarah.
Take
Be
care.
well. Be
You
well.
too. Walk good.
Mhm.
Mm.
This
Ah,
is beyonding. She's beyonding,
she is
literally.
beyonding, beyonding. And I love that call out that you made, Myra, about how, her recognition of when she comes back to the States and how she feels the energy different. And even when she's around people who are in this frequency, she can feel it. And
Mhm.
and I know that there are so many people right now
Mm.
who
Mm.
are noticing more,
Mhm.
noticing more and wanting something different.
Absolutely.
And I love how she has created her life on her own terms.
Mm.
And
It's so
yeah,
good. And Kylie, I know personally that you and your family are even exploring maybe moving out of the country for a trial period of time, not indefinitely, but maybe having a
yeah,
6-month experience or something. Is
yeah.
there a driver that's even pushing you to consider that yourself?
Yeah, I mean, whoops, almost lost my microphone. I must be excited about it. Um, it's similar to what Sarah mentioned about wanting to give her daughter
Mm,
another experience and to have her have a worldview that was broad. Growing up, I didn't travel internationally a lot. I didn't really travel internationally, like for real, for real. I mean, I went to Jamaica when I was 13. And
mm,
then when I graduated from high school, I went to Europe. My mom took me to Europe, and that was so pivotal for me. And it
mm,
just sparked
mm.
this love of travel. But growing up, we moved around a lot. We moved around the US a lot.
Yeah.
And when I think about my daughter, we live in Atlanta. We're not planning on leaving anytime soon. So the idea of helping her have different perspectives or at least a different cultural experience to see how
Mhm.
big this world is and how different people may live in other places, we definitely want to travel more. But living in a place, even if it's for 3, 6, 9 months, or a year, who knows? We're in the
Mm.
early stages of the exploration, but there's so much that I know will be pivotal for her life
Yeah,
experience that we would love to gift that to her.
that's good. And it's a common theme that, and we're gonna talk about, just our recap of the season, but a common
Yeah,
theme that's coming up is just the gift of self-awareness. And I hear and I feel that and have that's just kind of resonated so deeply from all of our guests and all of our conversations.
yeah,
And what I hear you talking about is opening up just access and building awareness through travel, through culture experiences, that your daughter can have that can help build her self-awareness. What do you like? What foods do you like? What are some
right.
of the places you wanna visit? Is there another language you wanna learn? It's just a powerful tool and gift to have those experiences so you can learn more about yourself. Like Sarah talked about how she learned more about who she is through travel and even invited us and our guests to really tap into what brings you joy.
Yeah,
What brings you joy, not
yeah.
trying to chase someone else's dream, right?
Mhm.
How do
Yes.
we reconnect with ourself?
Yes. And what's important, when I saw Sarah when she was in town, she was talking about, I know we only had so much time, we didn't get to this, but she mentioned how simple her life is. And she
Mm,
said, I love that my life is simple. And it's not going to work for everybody.
mm,
Everybody needs to figure out or find out and discover for themselves what works for them. But for me, having a simple life is so beautiful. Having a life where she can walk to just about anything that she needs.
mm,
And where she said, where they live, the stuff in there, it's a furnished apartment and the stuff inside is not hers.
mm.
And even not being attached to things, I
Yep.
think from a US perspective, we're so, consumerism is
Mhm.
so huge, and like being attached to stuff is something that permeates throughout this culture. And to be, for somebody like her who is a wanderer, who is, values freedom, I can see
Yeah.
how that would be so freeing for her.
Mhm. I think beyonding, as we think about this word and what it means, and honestly, I think over the season, this first season, which is just so exciting,
Ah,
I think we've defined and redefined and experienced beyonding in so many ways,
many
right?
ways.
And I
Yeah.
think it shows up for everyone differently, but it truly is about your lived experiences and how you can tap into those in a way that can be self-reflective, that can
Yeah.
open up things you didn't know about yourself and new experiences to help shape, what does beyonding look like for you? My beyonding will look different than your beyonding, Kylie, right? It's
Right. By
just the
design.
by
By
design.
design.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. When I think about, and we've had conversations even recently about what this word means, and, this idea of limitless living, limitless living,
Mhm.
when I think about so many of the people that we've talked to this season, we've seen a lot of that, either those who help others to expand their aperture to
Yeah.
what is even possible.
Yeah.
I think that comes to mind. And also, this life on your own terms, designing the life, like you being in the driver's seat of
Mhm.
your life that is available to us, and then
Mhm.
being in alignment with that, like
Mhm.
putting yourself in alignment with what you desire, what you want,
Yeah.
is just so good.
It is. I think about like just this idea, and we were talking earlier, but just this idea of creation, right? And
Yeah.
I've been sitting with this word for quite some time because with all that's going on in the world, even like let's bring it all the way home. There are stats out there that talks about how over 300,000 Black women are
Yeah.
leaving the workforce, whether they're leaving by choice or by
Mhm.
force. There's a very large number of women that are being displaced from the workforce.
Right, and that's just Black women.
Yes. So think about women in general, like that number's
Who
even larger.
else?
Who
Right.
else? Who else? And there was just this idea of us having the power to create, right? If you stick with this abundance mentality, this limitless mentality, this beyonding theme, right? We
Mhm.
have the ability to create. So when others are destroying or when something is taken away from us, if we tap into our innate power to create, we truly are limitless. And sometimes those experiences force you to create, to make something out of nothing. But the
Yeah.
reality is that power already lives in us, and sometimes it just has to be unlocked. But
Yeah.
there is nothing that we can't figure out, right? And creation is such a powerful gift that we can have an idea or a thought. And if we let all the limits, like if you think beyond limits, if you beyond, and you're tapping into beyonding, there is just so many opportunities like that come to you in the stillness and sitting still, maybe in community, in conversation with someone, and ideating. It's just a massive amount of things that I think come from this spirit of and this energy of creation. And I just think that's such a powerful thing when you really sit with, we have the ability to create
Yes.
something from
We
nothing.
are the originators of creation. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, if
Mhm.
we go, you know,
Really talk about it.
if we're really gonna talk about it, like the originators of creation, right?
Mhm.
And birthing.
Uh,
And, so I so appreciate you bringing up that stat, Myra, because
mm,
I know I saw the headlines and in many group chats, people were talking about it and there was this like sadness and disappointment and everything. And I have to be honest. And I know that this is, some people may feel a certain way by me saying that, but I'm going to saying this, but I'm still going to say it. I'm excited. I'm excited for that very reason that you just talked about, because I know that in moments like this, that is when innovation happens. That is when ingenuity happens. That's when creativity is sparked. Just this week, my daughter she asked a question. She said, "Who invented Scrabble?" And I said, "I don't know. We should research that." So she went in, she discovered who invented Scrabble, who was the originator. I can't remember his first name. It was something like Arthur Butts or Alfred Butts. I can't remember. Butts was his last name. He was an architect and lost his job during the Great Depression.
And look at that.
Innovation.
And the Great Depression in the 20s or something like this game is being played decades later.
Yes. And it was bought. And now it's in multiple countries. And depending on the country, different companies own the rights to it, depending on the country. So Mattel in some countries, and I can't remember all of them. So this is a moment.
Beyonding. Yes.
Beyonding like this, the opportunity of beyonding is a movement at this moment in time. Like we have the opportunity to create a movement for people, especially women, to take control and agency over the lives that they want. And it's not about who said that you can have this job. It's about what life do I want? Do I want? Not the one that I felt like I should have, or I see in the chat, somebody talked about, putting others first before our own wants. We cannot give from our empty cups. We deserve to pour into ourselves first and then share from the overflow.
Yeah. Ooh. It is all of that. Like, listen, Kailei, I've been experiencing it in real life, IRL, y'all, like what it means to try to pour from an empty cup, because it's impossible, but you can try. I've been trying to pour from an empty cup. You can try. It's a bit dry. It's real
dry. It is real dry.
Real dry and painful. And so what I appreciate and what has become so real to me over the last few weeks even is that I'm not supposed to be out here trying to heal folks. I don't have everybody's medicine. I have my medicine. And I learned this from you, Kailei. I have my medicine. And if my life could be an example to others that they have their own medicine, that's it. That's all I can do, right? I can't go out trying to heal people and I'm not taking care of my own self and my own needs, because I will burn out and I will be tired. And I'm actually not even healing them, because I'm giving them the medicine that works for me. It's not going to work for them. It's actually probably hurting and causing whatever it is to last longer and be a lot more painful. It's just not.
They need aspirin. You giving them Benadryl.
Listen.
And they're falling asleep and they're like,
why? This is not help. Why isn't this working for me? Why? Because it's not yours. I gave you what works for me. It doesn't work that way. So I had to sit all the way down, take several seats, and realize that's not my calling. My calling is to live my life to my fullest potential with full expression. And people it's that Mariam Williamson quote, which I always go back to, which I know you have somewhere in your office. Yeah. Like your light, me shining my light gives others permission to do the same.
Yes. 100%.
I don't have to go save nobody. I can't save nobody.
No, that's not your role. That's not my role. No. We might be blocking their blessings because we trying to do what we think is right. God is like, let me do my job.
I didn't ask you to do that. Matter of fact, it's a little bit of ego. It's
Ooh,
a little bit, maybe a lot of bit of
or
ego
more.
when you think you can save someone.
Mm,
That might be your ego. I
mm,
don't know, I'm just
mm,
saying.
mm.
Could be.
Yes, when you and I know we were corresponding around this, like the idea about pity, like when we see somebody suffering, right? You see somebody suffering and you want to heal them, you want to alleviate their pain, we want them not to suffer. And then sometimes
Mhm,
it's like, oh, I feel sorry for them,
mhm. And that's putting you in a place of superiority.
which is ego.
It's ego. That means you think that you're above.
Yes.
Feeling sorry for someone, they're below, you're above. It's an
Yes.
ego thing. Yeah,
Yes.
and that
Yes.
pity is not helping anybody.
Yes. And yes, Doctor, I see in the chat somebody said, quit trying to save these. In the Beyonding retreat, we talked about happiness over everything. Yes.
Mhm. Yes, you take those
Yes.
letters
Well,
and you figure out what
you
that
know
means.
what? Since, this might be a family show, thank you, whoever said Captain Save a Soul. We were talking about
Uh-huh.
Captain Save a something else. And
Yeah.
yeah, Captain Save a Soul. That's what we want to do.
Mhm.
And that's
Yeah.
not our mission. That's not our
Mhm.
calling.
That's so good because it's a great transition to our first recording on the Beyonding podcast in
Yes.
season 1, where we
Yes.
talked about the Beyonding retreat, and we had reflections with the other facilitators, Dr. Naima and Pascal, and that was one of Pascal's big revelations while she was at the retreat,
Yeah.
that she can't save everybody.
No.
And it was such a deep revelation. Simple, they're always simple, right? They're the simple lessons, but they hit deeply, especially when you've been living your life a certain way for
Yeah.
so long, and you realize that that was never your calling. You were never supposed to be out here trying to save people. You can only save yourself.
Yes.
And if
Yeah.
you do that well, others benefit,
Yeah.
right? Others benefit.
Because they see you. It gives people
Mhm.
permission to do the same when they see you, and it's nothing that we need to do. We
Right,
just need to be.
right. So
Whew.
do you have a highlight? Let's just, like,
Mm,
reflect. Do you have a
yeah,
highlight
I'm looking at
from
the episodes. I'm
okay.
scrolling back through to see all of it because this is episode 11.
Mhm.
We love a good alignment number,
Yes,
magical angel number.
absolutely.
Yes, and we had, episode 1, we welcome people in, we were talking about what beyonding is and what we were looking forward to, and I wanna, now that we're wrapping up season 1, I need to go back to the first episode and, listen to that one again because I'm
Mhm.
sure it will be, yeah, great reflection, and then
Yeah.
our next 2 episodes were about the retreat. We talked about how or not even about the retreat, that was part of the conversation, but the episode 2 was talking about how it really can help you go beyond limits to be in community and
Mhm.
to live our lives beyond limits. And I remember Dr. Naima Olatunji was talking about her experience and exploration with living abroad for
Yeah.
a year,
Mhm.
that beyonding experience.
And she hit
And
us with a
yes,
question. It was that question, "What did you imagine was impossible?" And that hit me hard. What did you imagine? Because it was probably a list of things for me, like, I felt like she was it hurt when she said it because I felt like she was talking to me, Kailei.
mm,
And she said,
I felt
"What
like she was talking to
you
me.
too?" Okay, I
Yes,
wasn't
you were
alone.
not alone.
I wasn't alone. She said, "What did
Mm-mm.
you imagine or what have you imagined was impossible?" And I could think of quite a few things, and it was this process of just unpacking why did you put that limit on? When we're talking limitless, we're talking beyonding. Why have you put that limit on yourself?
Yeah. Did you even know it was there? Did you even realize you put those limits? Oh,
Mm, yeah, that
yes.
was good.
That was good. So we had the pre-retreat conversation that brought up so much, including that question. And then we had the post-retreat conversation where we reflected on that incredible experience. And I remember surrender
Yeah.
being a big part of that conversation.
Mm-hmm. That's good.
Mhm.
The next one was Dr. Caroline, and she just blew my mind with this equation, this alchemy, if you will, that creativity, money, and spirituality are the same when you think
They're
about
all
it
the same.
energetically. They're the same. They're the same. And she broke it down, right, mind blowing, and opened up how spirituality, money, and creativity are one and the same, how they're all connected, and how it is just energy. It's energy.
Mm,
You haven't checked that one out. You have to check it out.
yeah,
She dropped some gems too.
she did. She
Mm.
did. I think we even got into a little bit of quantum
Mhm.
mechanics and physics and stuff. Yeah.
She's pretty brilliant. Pretty
Mhm. Mhm. And then ooh, the next one,
that sacred sisterhood.
Sacred Sisterhood.
Uh
Oh, Ashante Renee and Gia Peppers.
they
Wow.
I recently re-listened to that one.
I need to do that too.
It was so good because there were just questions. Well, Kailei, you dropped the bomb on that one.
Did I?
I
What
don't
did
even
I
know why
say?
you acting like
What
you
did
over
I say? I don't
there.
remember.
You talked about an experience where you were amongst a diverse group of people and someone that it wasn't a woman of color asked you about just the experiences that women of color have. And it may have been a question or a comment that she made as she observed just how we come together and it's like an immediately like connection and how we embrace and how we truly connect deeply when you almost sometimes just meet someone.
Yeah.
And the question you asked us is it possible to share that same sacred sisterhood with other women that are not of color? And it was a whole discussion.
I forgot about that. Yeah.
Yeah, it
Was.
unpacks some things. It
Whew.
unpacks some things.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that was a good one.
Yeah,
Mm,
yeah.
mm, yeah.
Those women. Woo.
I know. I'm just like, Gia and Ashante. I mean, yeah, I'm proud of us for bringing the four of us onto
Mhm.
that conversation.
Love it.
Who? Oh, and the next one was that beautiful, beautiful, heartfelt pause that
Mhm.
you shared that was so grounding and insightful
Mm.
around time and, you know, the urgency to slow down.
Yeah, right? It could be an oxymoron, but the reality is it's critical. It is critical that we slow our pace, because when we're rushing, we miss the things around us. And that had come to me in so many different occasions. And I think too, if we don't if we don't do it on our own, we'll be forced to slow down. Whether you deal with health issues, whether physically you're not able to keep up at the same pace that you're used to, emotionally and mentally, you start to get burnt out. So, I would rather you introduce a slower pace into your life versus it being forced onto you. And so that's the urgency, that's the sense of
Yeah.
urgency that I was feeling, to just tell people to take a breath, breathe, slow down. I talked to a friend recently that listened to that particular episode, and I actually share a meditation. So if you haven't checked that out, you
It's a
should.
great one.
It's a good one, and this particular person
Mhm.
said it put him right to sleep. So I don't know if you just need a way to get to bed and you have
Hey, right.
play that meditation, it might help you sleep.
Yes. Well, your voice is so soothing. So soothing. So good. And then after that, we had the conversation with Dr. Miriam about
Mm,
our inner children.
mm.
Ah,
This is
oh,
one for everybody. I really do believe that. I think
oh my God.
everybody needs to listen to this because it's
Yeah.
a concept that if you don't have words or didn't have words for it before, but you knew there were certain things that may be triggering to you or certain behaviors and habits that keep showing up in your life, and you're like, why do I keep encountering the same thing? What is it? Listen to that episode because it may have something to do with some inner child healing that you didn't even know you needed.
Yes. There might be some tenderness that is required for
Mm,
you to, yeah, tend to your soul, tend to your
mhm,
little girl or boy. And
mm,
that was such a beautiful, profound
mm.
episode. Yes.
Love Dr.
Yes.
Miriam.
Whoo. And then it was
I want to
us.
thank people. Was it
Uh,
us? Okay.
It was us.
Okay, I
It
was
was
skipping
us.
ahead.
We talked
Yes.
about staying grounded in purpose, stillness, and personal activation. Yeah, we had a great conversation. That was
We
a good
did.
one.
We did. Ooh,
That was
yeah.
a good one. That was
And
a
I
good
think that was just a free flow. Like, I think there
That
were so
was.
just downloads that came
Yes.
as we listened to, and we talked about consciousness, and, that was good.
That was a good one. But
Mm,
we've had some fun conversations.
mhm. I
Yes.
agree.
And let's see, what number are we on? So in episode 9, we had our sister Lovey Ajayi Jones
Yes.
redefining entrepreneurship, unleashing joy and purpose. And our sister Lovey is on her sabbatical right now. We
Right
talked
now.
right beforehand, right before she started her sabbatical.
Mhm.
And we were lucky to see her just recently here in Atlanta. And
Yes,
oh,
yes. So good. And she too is one that's like when she is around you, the energy is just it's good. Like the
mhm.
conversation's gonna flow. She brings in these things that are always thought provoking. She's gonna make you think. It's just conversation is always good
Yeah,
when Lovey's around.
yeah. And
Really,
it's gonna hit you deep though.
it will
It
always,
yes.
always. And then she
Always.
brings the posse, the group that she brings with her. She doesn't have anyone around her in her network or circle that's not just as powerful.
No, no,
So
she don't
don't play
play.
around.
She don't
Mm-mm.
play. No, she plays no games. Plays no games. Yes. And then our most recent episode was with our Beyonding sister, Danica Leaks,
Mm.
who, again, life by design. And, you know, finding her property in Costa Rica while, here she said yes to being at the Beyonding retreat. And then she
Mhm.
answered the call inside of her that said, look at property. Look
Mhm.
at property while you're here.
Mm.
And oh my gosh, to see that unfold
Yeah,
is
she's such an
beautiful.
inspiration.
She is.
Such an inspiration and truly someone that has taken what could have been a life of just trauma and turmoil and like turned it around and used it to work in her favor and used it to energize and drive just how she shows up in a life by design and living fearlessly. Such
Yeah.
an inspiration.
Yes. And she shows up for herself.
Yeah, she does.
She is such an inspiration in that.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
Myra, as you think about season 2, what are you looking forward to?
More of this, so much more of this. I definitely I'll go back to just how we started off talking about that self-reflective, self-awareness, just knowing who you are. And I think going through this, Kailei, for me, has been eye-opening in really settling into who is Myra Capri.
Mm.
and grounding in that and just being so content in who she is. And I'm ready to show up more fully in who I am. And I think that will just bring more life into what beyonding wants to be and how beyonding is beyonding. And I'm looking forward to it. I think we are just going to continue to show up fully in the fullest expression and hope and help people unlock their best lives.
Yes. Ooh, I love it.
Mm.
I
What
cannot.
about you, Kailei?
I am feeling excited and inspired by more ease and flow. Not even more than this season, but I feel like it will be easeful. It will be um I'm really, really excited about bringing more stories to our audience to let them see what's possible. In a conversation that we had earlier today, we were in a meeting, and y'all, if you could be a fly on the wall in the meetings that we have in the Asbury group, oh my gosh,
No agenda required because
no
we don't use
agendas
it anyway.
required.
It don't even matter.
Have some tissues,
Always.
have your journal or something to write down because you're gonna get a
Mhm.
download or some
Always.
prophecy for you. And don't try to plan too much because spirit's just gonna do what it do. And
Mm,
so one thing that came through during this conversation was this idea of being portals of possibilities.
yeah.
And
Huh.
I see our role as hosts, as co-hosts for this podcast. And the podcast, the spirit of the podcast itself is being this portal of possibility.
Mm,
It's showing people what is possible. And there is, something I've learned even in this first season is there's no efforting involved.
yeah.
It's all ease. And if
Yeah,
if
it
if
is.
there's efforting involved, that means it's not aligned.
That's so true because I literally life prepares us for this. The way we prepare y'all is we live life.
Yep, for
And then we show up.
real.
That's it. It's
That's
we
it.
live life
Yes,
and
we're
we show up,
present
but
to
we're
it.
living life intentionally open and ready to receive. And so that is the work. If you want to talk about like what the work and prep looks like, it's living life open and with intention. And then
Yeah,
we show up.
and we show up. And the people who are supposed to be a part of those conversations, they will show up too. They will show up in our psyche, in our conversations, in
Mm.
our algorithms, and
Mhm.
we will build from there.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. So now that being said, help us out. If there's
Mm.
some people that you're like, oh my gosh, this person has a beyonding story, or y'all should check this person out, let us know.
Yeah.
Let
Yeah.
us know. We wanna hear from you.
Please. We love that.
Mm.
It's been
Mhm.
such a pleasure, Kailei, just this experience in general. I
Ooh.
absolutely love our conversations. I love this time. I love re-listening to the episodes myself. I
Yeah,
have learned and grown so much, and I am just grateful for you. I'm
I'm
so
grateful.
grateful.
Me too. Me too. Me too. And we get to do this, and we get
Mm,
to do this with all of you that we know are listening, and we don't take it lightly that you
yeah.
spend your time while you're driving or getting ready or, doing what you do on your walks or meandering and wandering and all of the
Yes.
things. And that time is so precious, and we so appreciate it. We are going to be taking a short hiatus
Yeah.
for the next, I don't know, we don't have a specific date, but stay connected to our feed
Mhm.
probably at least a couple of months
Yeah.
for us to recharge and live life.
Yeah. We're
And
gonna
we
come back with a lot because I'm
ooh,
telling you, we
ooh,
prep by living life. So we're gonna go live a little more. We'll be back.
yes. And you know what? One last thing that I would like to say is one thing that I am looking forward to that I hope for season 2 is that
Uh-huh.
we do more live
Oh,
podcast sessions, and
yes,
not just live here on YouTube, but like in person,
in real life,
in
in
real
person.
life.
Mhm.
IRL.
Mhm. I'm
Yes.
here for it. Let's
Me
do it.
too. Me too. Ah!
This is
This is
beyonding.
beyonding. This is beyonding. Oh, thank you everybody for joining us tonight for this live. If you are watching us live on YouTube, and if you're watching the replay, thank you still. If you're listening on the podcast, thank you still. And be well.
Be well. We'll see you soon.
See you
Take care.
soon.